Something
I mean,
else.
at the end of the day, the Leafs never fail to entertain us. That's
Oh,
one thing.
oh,
Like
I'll never, ever,
every
ever.
game,
Yeah, no,
every game.
they're incapable. They're incapable of playing an uninteresting game. Very, very. I'd say once in the last twice, maybe in the last 6 years, I've been like, what a snooze this game has been from start to finish. We've had
That
one this year,
Minnesota
like,
game
yeah, like,
was really, really boring. But other
yeah,
than that,
exactly. That's the only one. Everything else is blowing
yeah,
leads, major comebacks, shootout wins, uh, friggin' four
highlight
goal
reel
games.
goals,
It's
right?
just
Hat tricks.
the only thing we're
Yeah.
missing is fights and hits, and I'd really like to see some more of that, but maybe we'll get to that. But
Sounds like you're trying to explain the next attraction at Canada's Wonderland. You know,
Yeah, really
it's got
well.
it all, baby.
yeah,
Yeah,
Every
right. Got it
emotion's gonna
all.
get
Watch
ripped
Leafs
out of you.
hockey.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I always think about that meme. Did you guys ever see? I think it was in the movie Step Brothers, and his buddy's on Will Ferrell's on a couch and he's sweating, and he's like, what was it? He says, you know what I'm talking about? He's like, why are you sweating for? And he's like, I was watching Leafs, and he's like, freaking like sweat's pouring down his face. I'm like, I feel
Yeah.
you. I feel you.
I'm gonna wear a
Yeah.
heart rate monitor someday when I'm watching one of these games. I'm gonna save it for the
Oh,
playoffs,
Yeah, that's
probably.
such a good idea.
Yeah,
Just maybe I'll try it
definitely.
with my Apple Watch. That would work, wouldn't
That
it?
would work.
An
Yeah.
Apple Watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're
I'll
gonna get into some
report back
topics
next
on
game.
this one. Obviously, we'll talk about the game. We want to talk about the goaltending. Clearly, we want to focus on the refs as well. Ugh, gross.
Yeah.
Gross.
And I don't get
Disgusting.
into that very often, but yeah, this one is deserving. If Matthews is mad, then I'm
mean,
mad. If Matthews is happy, I'm happy. So
Yeah.
no, there's lots to talk about. We'll maybe get into a bit of trade deadline chat and some other stuff in and around the league. So yeah, all good, folks. Welcome to episode 16 of the DSC
16.
podcast, and you got the OG crew back, the originals. Kylie Murn there on the
Sorry,
left,
Patty.
Mr. Chad Newman there on the bottom. Patty, yeah, we put him out to pasture. He's cheering for the Habs now, I think, last time I heard. Anyway, guys, titter tatter, let's get at her.
Will he be what we think he is? Oh yeah, we can actually
Well,
talk
he
about
was
this after if you want.
he was brought in, like Tavares was brought in and be like, hey, you know that role you had in the Islanders? Well, we have Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner, so you're not going to be that anymore.
That's true.
Can you do this?
Yep.
Can you change your game and still be relevant? Oh, and then we'll put the big old C on your chest. I mean, and he's still a
what
point
I
per
seen
game.
from him tonight was
He's moldable. And
exactly what we've wanted.
That's hard to find. He can adapt.
100%. And I
So
can't
anyway.
blame his like recent, we'll say, lack of production because he had lots of it. It's just whether they've been goals or just assists or even secondary assists, they've been production. He's
And
been
that
in on
line
them.
was pretty flat.
They were just not gelling tonight,
No.
though.
Well, it's gone all over the
And I don't
place
know if
tonight.
it's because did you guys see the list of teams, scouts that were at our game? I say our game, like we were strapped out, like they had our skates
Deadline's
strapped on.
coming.
But yeah, did you see that? There was
No, I
like
did not.
7 or 8 different teams. Yeah, I seen the
I
tweet.
mean,
I forget,
Arizona's
I'll see
in
if I can
town
find
too,
it.
right? Everybody's looking at
No.
Arizona.
But it was reported today by, God, I don't know, too many people I follow. But anyway, it was reported by somebody in the sports world that our biggest chip, according to, I guess, general managers around the league, is Kerfoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd have
That's
no
our big-
issue
now,
moving
whether or not
Kerfoot.
that's going to be moved. Yeah, whether or not
I-
he's going to move on, but that's our biggest trade piece right now.
I'd
if
have no
teams are
issue moving
interested.
Kerfoot because until the third period, you know who the most noticeable player on the ice was, at least for me? Would have
Nick
been
Robertson.
Nick Robertson by a
Yeah.
country mile too. Like it wasn't even close.
Yeah.
Willie looked decent. Willie had some good rushes, but Robertson was all over it and making
It's always Robertson.
making patient plays, making smart passes.
Man, he was hitting people left, right, and
Yes.
center.
If
I was like,
if Kerfoot got to be the guy to go out, I got no issues with
Bravo.
a Willie Robertson, JT second line. I think it's a beautiful line. They just need some time.
I think
Yep.
he's almost there.
Oh,
And I think that almost is just lack of practice, honestly, in that
Yeah,
in
too
this
many
in the
injuries.
league, honestly. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I mean, geez, I thought he got hurt again the other night. I was like, oh
Yeah.
fuck no, please. Like, don't be your
Yeah.
knee. And it was his goddamn knee, but thankfully he's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But I guess everybody's hearts were up in their throats.
I think he'd play with one leg right now if he had to.
Yeah.
He's
Well, he's
like,
that
I'm
kind
gonna
of
sit
player,
out
right?
And they're
that
on
game."
crutches, right?
Yeah,
Remember
it
when
must be
we
killing
had
him.
Croc on the podcast, which by the way is an awesome
Mhm.
episode if anybody's listening. But we had Todd Crocker on. We asked him about what did I say, Nick Ritchie.
No.
We asked him about Robertson, and
Half the sauce, what's the talent?
his immediate response was, if I had the focus in my life at any if I had the focus of Robertson at any point in my life at anything, I'd probably have landed a rocket on the moon by now. He's that focused, and it's so easy to see, right? Like, I mean, we haven't seen this kid accomplish anything yet, and yet we all still love him. Like, what is like? Clearly, he's a good fit, and it's not the kind of guy you want to trade. Like, if they trade Nick Robertson, they better be getting Patrick Kane and Marc-Andre Fleury, and the boys retaining like all their salary. Like, it's got to be like, I just want to keep the kid, right? I like him.
Well, the
I like
good
him a lot.
thing is, I don't mean to interrupt you there,
go
but
ahead.
speaking of him, and we haven't got to see a whole lot of him because unfortunately he has been kind of plagued with injuries. But I don't know if it's helping his case, but with his brother tearing it up in Dallas and reports of before they were drafted, I remember reading articles comparing the two, and Nick was always meant to be the better goal scorer. And it's just, like I said, we haven't got to see much of that. So I don't know if like seeing his brother tearing it up maybe raises his value a little bit too, because that potential is there. But
No, man.
I
we'll
think
have to,
feed
the only thing is his
Robertson's-
size.
Yeah.
But then it's so funny because yesterday, I'm out. YouTube is always on at my house, and especially watching like Steve Dangle videos and podcasts. And anyway, random stuff comes on after. So it happened to be a video of Theo Fleury, of all people, his career highlights. And I guess during that era, I just don't remember it much. But he was so tiny compared to everybody. And that gives me kind of hope, because Nick Robertson, like seeing those highlights, and I was like, holy shit, I kind of see Nick Robertson in him. Like the same tenacity almost in their game.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, Theo Fleury was a savage, but Nick got that same go-getter, drive, we'll say.
Yeah.
Well,
High energy.
when
Yes.
he skates, and I'm talking about Robertson, when Robertson skates, like, it's 110% every stride. Like he just digs in. If he's back checking, forward checking, it doesn't matter if he's skating
He's
to
everywhere.
the bench, right? He's just he's all in.
Full sprint. Yeah.
And I love
Kind of
that.
like Ilya
because-
Mikheyev. Like there's no slow. It's just 100
Two gears, yeah.
constantly. Yeah.
Like,
It's either stopped or go.
I love
Yeah.
our team. I do. I love the core in particular. They're great players. I mean, you can't watch this team and not enjoy Matthews, Marner, and Nylander. It's impossible. However, I mean, those guys do lack that drive, that energy. That
I feel like
don't
we've
know.
seen it tonight, though. There was glimpses of it.
there was glimpses of
And
it. Yeah.
That's what was it's almost so frustrating, is they didn't deserve to win that game. No, you played
Oh,
one period,
God.
and that's your weakness. You guys play one, maybe 1.5 periods a game. It's not acceptable. And I feel like tonight, I don't know if it's because, you got a rookie goalie behind you. And I mean, if you guys think back to when Wall played his first couple games, they played the same. They played really, really well in front of them. I don't know, I guess just trying to pull out that win or whatever the case may be. But I don't know. There was a little.
I can tell you
glimpse
this: if that's the case, then they should keep the string of rookies coming, because
of- Literally,
goaltending-
that's
the
what me and
goaltending-
Adam were saying.
the goaltending we've been watching is by far, and I mean by far, the worst goaltending I've seen in my time as a Leafs fan. I mean, it's not even
bad.
close. I mean, tonight,
Well, Toskala was pretty bad though.
not as bad as
Oh
tonight.
yeah, that was.
Tonight might have been the worst goaltending I've ever. Like I said in our group chat, I was like, 3 of those goals, Mrazek wasn't even in the crease. Well, one he was, but he was lying on his stomach with no stick, right? Partially in the crease.
Literally crawling like a freaking infant, trying to like squabble over and get it, and then he throws the stick. Like if you would have just held on to the thing, you probably would have been able to swipe at the puck. It was, and everyone he was
painful.
outside the crease by at least 8 feet.
It was
Like, guys,
so
obvious-
bad, like empty nets, literal empty nets, like nothing in front of 4x6 for 3 goals. right?
It
All you had
was
to do was
it
lift the
was
puck
terrible.
once, and then the other two were completely wide open. I was so gobsmacked by that. The very first goal he let in, actually, in the pregame, when they shone, this is in the pregame, all right? They shines the camera over on the emergency call up rookie goaltender. I looks at my wife and says, "He's playing tonight." She's like, "What do you mean? He's on the bench?" I said, "No, he's playing." And when he let in that first goal, I said, "Oh yeah, it's coming." Is coming, because that was the worst rebound in the history of the NHL. No, I mean, not in the history, but is that, like, that rebound for him to block her that into not even into the slot, just lay it down in the crease.
Yeah.
I was just like, what are you doing? I could have, like I said in our group chat, I'm not a goaltender or a hockey player. I could have tended goal better than Mrazek did in the first period.
100% on skates that you can't even skate in.
Yep.
You would do a
It's
better.
a growing problem. And tonight we just saw the worst of it. Like, every game I'm watching, I'm like, okay, maybe the goaltending slump is, they'll have a good game, but it's worse, and it keeps getting worse. It's like the nightmare coming into April. You don't want to lose all goaltending, and we've lost like all of it.
And
I mean,
well, it came out today, obviously, as you guys know, Jack Campbell has a wrist, my goodness.
Ribs.
What am I saying? A rib injury. I don't know where I got wrist to.
Yep.
And I don't know if you guys remember what game was it, and he took a shot. Was that last game? Took a shot like almost right to the crest, and he just toppled over. And I was like, "Ooh, that didn't look good." So I don't know if it just happened to be, because he said he'd had it for a while. So I don't know if it was. And then someone also mentioned on Twitter or Facebook, I forget, that he hasn't been himself since Marcus Foligno ran into him that time. That was probably a month or more ago now, at least.
Yeah.
No, it was longer than that. And so, I mean, he could have very well hurt his ribs.
So are you saying that two Folignos screwed us in the same calendar year?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't say it's not the same calendar year.
No, that's
but
right.
Same
in 12-month span.
Same in the last 12 months, yes. But yes, potentially.
Yeah.
I remember, like, I hurt my ribs a while ago at work. I slipped, and it was probably one of the worst pains of my life. So I can only imagine. And if you're a goalie, because there was a goal he let in last game, and he didn't even try. Like, it was a 2-on-1, and of course it was a pass right in front of the crease, and he didn't even try to get over. And I'm like, he give up.
Yeah.
And then that came out today.
It's really weird, because Campbell looks like, on all those goals he's letting in, he always looks like he's in position to make the save. And it's just like, he's like Swiss cheese. It's like the puck just goes through him. Like, it's
like he's had the worst luck.
What really
That's what I think.
What luck? No, it's.
I know, but I mean, I'm not someone who blames it on the goaltending, and I don't know if I've said it to you guys, but I've been vocal about it on every other social media platform. It's not only the goalies. There's 5 people on the ice. However, tonight's game was okay. I mean, that was on Mrazek. 100% that was on Mrazek. However, a lot of the goals in the last, we'll say, 6-8 games was complete trash goaltending. Goalies let out to dry, odd man rushes, fucking 2-on-1s on power plays. Like, there's just
zero
shit.
battles in front of the net. It's killing
zero,
me.
exactly. No, nothing. Like, tonight we actually see Mitch Marner
Ripe for the
laying
picking.
out people. Yes. Jeez, there was, I think it was
Matthews threw a
Tyler
dandy
Bushkin.
hit tonight too.
Man, and last game, but I think that Marner hit was what really, like, woke the team up, because after that it was just like, whew. But anyway, I know you were just going to say something, Ryan, about that, but yeah.
No,
I'm impressed. I liked it. But.
What I was going to say on the Mrazek front was that if you would have told me 7 months ago that Peter Mrazek was going to be this bad, I would have said, you're out of your mind. There's no way an experienced goaltender at his level, who've played on good teams, bad teams, he's always been a reputable kind of, he's been a starter. He's been an NHL starter and was brought into Toronto to possibly be that. If you would have told me he was going to be this bad, like AHL, not even AHL, if you had that kind of performance in AHL, you get lit up too. Like, he's just bad.
So the question is, what do you guys think? Who's starting for the Heritage Classic?
I'd start the rookie, and it's not even close.
I would too.
It's not even
close.
So
I looked up the whole Justin, what is up with me tonight? Joseph Wall situation, because Adam's like, where's Wall? Where's Wall? Like, who's this Calgary kid? Like, I was like, but he might have played for the Growlers. Like, I have no idea who this kid is. So, of course, I'm like searching it up. This was kind of as Mrazek was shit in the bed, because I knew it was coming. So, Funny enough, I tweeted this, so I don't know if you guys seen it. He was actually drafted in 2015 by the Arizona Coyotes. Eric Kallgren was. I don't know how they said it. I just
They call it Shalgren, like with an
Shalgren,
S.
yeah. Same like Skillington or whatever his name is. Yeah, Killington. He got a weird name too. But anyway, yeah, so he was drafted by them, but he was never signed by them. And we signed him this year as a free agent. So that was a little bit, I guess, bittersweet for him tonight to not only get his first NHL game, but to get against the team that drafted him. But however, I was going to say something else and now I forget. Oh, I was going to ask you guys, yeah, who do you think is going to start? And then we were talking about Wall. That's what it was. Okay, so I thought maybe he was, sorry, I'm going off on a tangent.
Good recover.
Not bad.
Right? I was like, where did I go? Like,
Right
what was
down
I
the middle.
going at? Oh yeah, Wall. So I remembered the draft thing from when I was searching up Wall and
just
him,
keep
and I'm like, oh
going,
right.
Just keep going.
Give her.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
So anyway, Wall, because I'm like, is he hurt? Like, why is this guy up? So he played 2 days ago for the Marlies, and two of them have almost exactly the same save percentages. So I guess maybe they were just like, hey, Wall, you had your chance. Let's give this guy a chance to see how he does.
Or
'Cause I
maybe
thought
give him
perhaps
more
it was-
starts.
Maybe
Like if
who knows?
he's getting a season and this guy's probably sitting, they probably never expected him to play tonight.
And maybe when they
We're
called
hoping.
taxi, Wall was in the shower and Shalgren was ready to go. I mean,
That's true. Who knows?
At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter because everybody on the Leafs management team didn't expect that guy to play tonight. Everybody who watched the game certainly did. So anyway, let's move on from that Shalgren conversation and let's talk about the fact that the kid had his very first ever NHL win stolen from him. Kylie, I'll let you
Yes.
lead in, Kylie, because I know this is one you love.
Well,
I don't endorse this conversation hardly ever in my life.
No, but-
Normally I shut this shit down, but you can go.
No, because it was ridiculous. And I don't know if you guys caught the Edmonton game last night because there was nothing on last night. So we were watching that game. And I'm telling you, boss, it was
It's pitiful.
Hyman got hacked by Ovi. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. And then that tonight, well, first of all, John Tavares was literally like spun around and like pretzeled up by two defensemen or two people. I think it was two. If not, it was at least one.
Yeah.
I just remember
Bad-
it looked
bad
like two
miss.
people because he spun around so many times. And then on the Matthews non-call, like what? How?
Yeah,
As a
Bunting
fan,
was
I
hauled
mean-
down twice too.
Yeah.
Yes, there was a call. Well, I mean, that's just an overtime. I mean,
Yeah.
there was so many missed calls. Sure, there was barely, I would guess there was maybe 15 whistles that whole entire game. And that's on the high side. Maybe let's say
Yeah.
10 whistles.
Yeah, I don't even know what
Besides
else we're
the
doing there
obvious
tonight.
ones.
Pound hockey, man.
It was really, really bad. And then to see Matthews give it to the ref after that, beautiful.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
apparently I seen on Twitter that John Tavares had a lengthy conversation with the ref as well. Because, I mean, there's nothing you can do about it now, but you literally just fucked us out of a game. We
Yeah,
just
I mean-
lost because of that.
Yeah. It's
Matthews
just
could not get back. It was a 2-on-1. This guy literally held him back and then like kind of sprung off him and got the speed.
it was
and then-
so good to see Matthews get so passionate, and I hope
Me
hope
too.
he takes Define in his post game press conference because he can afford it. I
I
hope he
can't wait to watch
unloads
it.
because that is such a load. That
probably
is
get
such
some
a
tweets
load
by
for
now.
that team to battle back and give the fans in that stadium that kind of show. And to I mean, this game is all about entertainment value and everything else. And for them to screw up what should have been a storyline, your first win for a kid coming up from like, it's amazing that these guys get to keep their jobs. It really is. And all this on the back of, if you follow our podcast at all, you look back, episode 15 just released a couple of days ago was the Paul Dvorsky episode. And we talk in length with Paul about accountability and the refs being held accountable and who they're accountable to, because they're accountable to people like Paul Dvorsky, supervisors who watch these games and talk to these guys after their games. And I don't see how you can watch that game as a retired NHL official. Stevie Walkham is there. He's in charge of the whole works of it in New York. How he can look at that and say, no, we're doing a good job. We're doing a good
It
job.
was-
This is like they completely
My word for it was
blew the game.
disgusting.
Yeah, it's embarrassing for fans. It's got to be embarrassing for the ref when the ref made the signal towards the net for that final goal and Matthews laid into him. He didn't even look up. He didn't.
No, he didn't even turn his head.
Right.
Didn't even turn his head.
And I'm like,
I have the numbers here actually for Mr. Matthews. He's 399th in the league with penalties drawn. Mr. McDavid is first. Go figure. So he has drawn. You want to make a guess? Do you guys want to guess?
6 penalties. I don't know. It feels like
I swear
6.
to God, it's 6. It's 6. I swear to God.
Are you kidding?
He's drawn 6 penalties this year. By 6 penalties.
I was trying to exaggerate for effect, folks. To say 6 would be ridiculous, and in actual fact, it's 6. So
I want to know
there
how
you go.
many. I'll say Connor McDavid has drawn 34. Oh wait, no, sorry. I mean, he's just 34 penalties drawn behind Connor McDavid. So Connor McDavid has 40, I guess. Would that be right?
How many have Bunting drawn?
I'd love to see that. It's just a tweet here. I wonder how I wonder.
Because I get that Bunting got hauled down a couple of times, but he embellished on both of them.
Keith said, "You guys all saw that. You don't need me to say anything."
Yeah.
No, you do.
You
Keith.
can't say anything because the man will get fucking.
Take the fine.
Yeah, but you should be allowed to at this point. You just like. All I know is that
you know what? That's how
if
it's
I done such a
nice.
bad, right? I was just gonna say if I done such a bad job at my job, my boss would call me out. Like technically,
No, if you did that bad of a job, Carly, with millions of dollars on the line, I mean, all them people paid hundreds of dollars to come into that stadium to watch that, and it's your job to make sure that they at least watch something fair, and that's what happens in overtime. You'd be fired tomorrow. You'd be fired. Not even tomorrow. You wouldn't even get your skates off. You know, if that was your job, right? So I don't understand. I'll never fully understand it because I get it. Sometimes the fans are extra hard on refs, and we all have our turns at it because we're totally biased. But then you see something like that literally affects a young kid who's just getting started. Got his first opportunity to skate off the ice with a win for a team and a big third period comeback where he made a couple of 10-bellers. I mean, like they mentioned halfway through the third, are like, okay, but Shalgren hasn't really been tested, and that was true at that point. It was like, the team played well in front of him, but then when he needed to make those couple of big saves coming across, they were beauties. He should have walked away with that game. Should at least have even had him in that position to begin with. No, of course not. But anyway, that's where we were in the third period.
Yeah. We were down 4-1. We came back. As soon as that kid came in, I don't think there was a shot for at least, I think they got one, and then within like a couple minutes, but then there wasn't one for 6, 7, 8 minutes maybe. And we come back, we tie it up, only to get screwed over by the refs. Like it's poetic at this point. Like it's
no, it'd be poetic if Nick Ritchie scored the overtime goal.
Yeah, that would have been just beautiful. But Kessel. I mean, well, every other not ex-Leaf pretty much got a point. So Kessel got an assist, and then we had the other two with goals, and then the only one who didn't get one was Ritchie. Poor Ritchie. He probably got an assist somewhere. Who knows? I'm just rotted. I'm really mad because
I think Sheldon Keefe should have said something.
I think he should too. I'm trying to find some quotes to see
what?
if like
I think that's
or...
what happens on ice. They don't react enough. They don't have enough to back it up. Stand up for your goddamn team.
Good,
say something.
A good switch up.
Yeah, that's not.
Sheldon Keefe says he was thinking of pulling Mrazek at 2-0, but went for the challenge instead. That was so bad too. We never even talked about that. So someone had the rules. Ridiculous. I thought it was really stupid because I was like, man, he was clearly onside. However, when you're crossing the blue line, the plane they call it, you have to be in possession of the puck. He completely let go of the puck as he was crossing the blue line and then picked it back up again. So essentially, no, you weren't in possession of the puck. So I think it should have been. At first, I was like, no, this is really stupid. And then I seen the actual rule. Somebody had it posted, and I'm like, actually, it's true. He wasn't in possession of the puck. However,
isn't in control of the puck the rule? That's what they said on the broadcast.
Or maybe in control. Maybe that's the word.
Because
but you know what I mean. He wasn't in control of it.
I don't know, man. He took that puck. I mean, he was skating backwards, but he took.
I know it's kind of 50-50, honestly, because it could go either way. It depends on what your definition of control is, right? Yeah. And everybody's
this is just it. I had no issue with the goal. I looked at it, I was like,
it's just like the kicking motion.
If put it this way, if that was the Leafs and that goal got called back, I'd be pissed. So
it's true.
So I had no real issue with that. What I had the issue with is Mrazek, and we already talked. We beat that to death. But I think we need to move on from this game, both from a podcasting standpoint and emotionally, because it's brutal. We do need to talk about the impending trade deadline. So again, 7 months ago, if you had told me that come trade deadline, our biggest concern would be goaltending, I don't give a shit what Kyle Dubas is saying in the media. His biggest concern tonight, while he's trying to get to sleep, is goaltending, right? What do we do? I mean, you simply can't go out and get a number one goaltender. And like they said on the broadcast tonight, GMs are not going to be looking to throw you a life preserver at this point. They're going to be throwing you an anchor. So if you want to pick up let's say, I mean, Fleury's name has been tossed around a ton because he's clearly available and clearly would be a bona fide number one goaltender. But what in the name of the Lord are you going to give up for a rental goalie at this point?
And I mean, Fleury is freaking. I mean, he's Fleury. He won the Vezina last year. However, look at the teams he's played behind, and then you look at, let's just say, Chicago this year. I mean, he's done really good in Chicago. He's also done really, really bad in Chicago. So I don't know if he would be our Hail Mary, like the one who's going to save it.
To me, they got to do something because right now,
Freddie Anderson, for example, that just proves it.
Well, but see, the thing is, right now in the NHL, there's probably 50 goalies that are better than the two we have. No joke. I mean, like we're talking like 880s save percentage. We have one of the worst save percentages in the league in the last month.
Since like forever.
Since the All-Star break.
It's really bad. It's really bad.
So I mean, Dubas can't simply do nothing. He has to do something, or you bring up the rookies and let them play and see if you can get some Matt Murray magic going, where you got a hot young goalie heading into the playoffs, and then just ride it out. I mean, hope for the best. You never know; you might hit that miracle.
I may see another wasted year in the quest on a gamble.
Oh yeah, I know. I agree.
I
with
mean,
you
can't overpay either. If that's your only option, that's your only option. But I mean, Varlamov.
Yeah, he said he didn't want to come.
Where? The Oilers, wasn't it?
No, I thought that was Toronto. Maybe it was the Oilers. I've seen somebody talking about how he specifically said he was not moving.
No, he said the Oilers, 100%.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
And that's no
surprise. I did hear him talking about it today on Overdrive, so I just I wasn't really watching it. I was more or less just in the background.
That's not a big shock.
I thought they were from the Leafs.
I heard yesterday the Easter Bunny doesn't even want to visit the Oilers. They're that bad.
They are actually terrible. Yeah. I mean, I seen a tweet the other day about how they got, I forget the dollar figure, but I'm going to say like 20 million, give or take, next year locked up in like Barry. I don't know. I forget the names because obviously I don't know other players. Sure. There was like a bunch of like friggin' mediocre players, and they were saying how, good teams don't waste cap dollars on such shitty players and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, there's more than just that needs, like, they keep talking about players, but they need goaltending just like we do. Then again, they probably need defense just like we do. I don't know.
Funny thing is, right now the Oilers have better goaltending than we do.
At this point, that's why I was like, actually, never mind.
That's the scary part, right? Like, I mean, so if you're Dubas, you're looking at this, you're like, well, holy crap, I did not see this one coming.
Did you see him during the game?
Yeah, I know. I don't blame Dubas for any of this. Like, clearly, whatever happened with Jack Campbell, that he's done. His goose is cooked. I've been waiting for him to just come around, and he's getting worse. Like it just seems like he had whatever confidence he had. Because remember, I can't remember which podcast it was a long time ago, and the four of us were on, and Patty was talking about Campbell, and Patty's like, I have so much confidence in that guy. I would trust him in any situation, and we were all like, yes, absolutely. And right now, it couldn't be any further from the truth. Like, I wouldn't trust him in a game of pond hockey. You know what I mean? Like, it's just whatever confidence he had is gone. It's just poof, disappeared. You know, and it's so sad to see because he was just lights out for part of this year. You know,
I still think he can do it, but I just don't know.
No, I was going to say, I feel like he's the type of player that probably, well, we already know that he's the type of player that obviously gets in his own head. And then there might have been like a couple games where our defense just, didn't play, and some squeakers got let in, whatever. His confidence got shook because of maybe a bad game. And then it just kind of snowballed.
Yeah.
And it just got worse and it got worse and it got worse. And I mean, I will say the last game he played, I felt like his luck looked a little bit better. There was like a hit the post once when really like maybe a week ago it would have went in. Like I felt like, okay, maybe it's turned around, because I do feel like hockey is a lot of luck sometimes when it comes to posts and whatnot. And fucking refs, but I'm cursing on this on the night, Ryan. You're gonna have to put explicit
control
in the
that.
title.
Explicit content, check.
Yeah, right. Yeah, not made for kids, check. But but you know what I mean? I don't know. It's just
Okay, I'll tell you what. Let's shift gears here because, like I said, I know the people who are watching this are watching for our game reaction, which is fine. But we got to throw some love out too, because while tonight is kind of like, kind of gross, and it's not even on our players at this point. The first two periods were, we discussed that, but we got to throw some love out because we've had some guys really stepping up lately. And first, I want to get you guys talking about Michael Bunting, because I thought he was going to be a viable replacement. Well, I mean, everyone thought Nick Ritchie was going to be the replacement for Zach Hyman. That was clearly the plan, and that clearly did not work out. And Bunting kind of they were like, oh, I guess we'll try that guy. And holy crap, in my opinion, I'll give you my hot, not even hot take, my Cole's Notes opinion of the guy. He's a more skilled player than Zach Hyman when it comes to his handling of the puck. He's 100% greasier than Hyman will ever be. He's just a disrespectful little shit to the other team, and I love it. And I really think he's a comparable player to Hyman when it comes to puck retrieval. He picked the puck up a million times tonight in the corner and brought it out and turned it into something else.
Comes out with it every time. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier too.
Lots of speed.
I want to hear your guys' take on what you've seen, certainly recently. The kid is just one of the top young players in the NHL right now.
Absolutely driven, and he's a mainstay on that top line. You can't even take him off if you wanted to.
No,
he's
never
a
set
gem.
them up now.
Thank you, Mr.
They went on a
Dubas.
huge cold streak. Yeah, like that was. I mean, he left money on the table for other teams to come home. Looking at you, Johnny. But I'm just looking at his points right now. Hold on. So in 57 games played, so I don't know how many games we have played total, because this may or may not be updated from tonight. 20 goals, 26 assists for 46 points.
Nuts.
He's a plus 19, 38 penalty minutes, 2 game-winning goals. I mean,
shorties.
Hello, rookie. Our rookie of the year. I mean, people are saying how, like I said, I think I said it to you guys the other day, that because of his age, he shouldn't win and blah, blah, blah. But I feel like at his age, he's doing what kids are doing. So I mean, when I was 26, I definitely wouldn't be the same as I would at 22. I don't know. Shouldn't that be a notch against, for him and not against him? I don't know.
Either you're a rookie or you're not a rookie, right? Are you a rookie or you're not a rookie?
In Gary Bettman's classification, he's a rookie.
Yeah.
Just like, what's his, Nedeljkovic or whatever his name is, which, by the way, did you guys see the goal he let in tonight? And he did it to himself. Okay, so the puck was bouncing. You have to go find this. Anyone listening and you didn't see this, go find the clip. So the puck must have been iced down or whatever, but it was bouncing. So he took his goalie stick with one hand and he tried to just swipe it out of the way. But I guess he hit it with the heel, right on the heel of his stick as it was bouncing, and it bounced right between his legs in the net.
Bad.
So it was Minnesota versus Detroit. If anybody's wondering, go find that clip, because
I'll be watching that.
Made me feel better. It made me feel better because this was while Mrazek was shit in the bed, and I'm on Twitter and I'm just poisoned, and I see that and I'm just like, okay. Because this kid's supposed to be up for a collar too. So, and
I need to turn on the TV and see something to make me happier right now.
You need to see that. So, also in regards to, we're talking about award winners. Tonight, Mr. Shesterkin was pulled after 4 goals allowed, because that's Matthew's biggest competition right now. Austin Matthews' 37 goals in a 38-game span are the most by a Leafs Forever player since Babe died in 1924-25.
Nice.
Why, dude?
That was my next share some love because
Yeah, I had to tangent into that.
no, absolutely, and a good segue because like for a while now, people have been fairly slow actually, considering how hot Maple Leafs fans get under the collar about everything. They've been very slow to anoint Matthews as the greatest Leaf of all time. It was kind of on the tips of people's tongues. It was kind of like tossed around a little, but it never got traction on social media in the last 2 or 3 years. But this year, I mean, even if you take opinions out of it, just forget about your opinion for a minute and just look at all the records the kid is breaking. He's breaking records that are 100 years old for a franchise, right? He's 24 years old. Like, I look at him, I'm like, he's 24? How good is he going to be when he's 28? You know? And got about 6 more pounds of muscle on, and he's bitter because he hasn't won a cup yet. You know, how much better is he going to be? You know?
Adam calls it the man bear prime. I thought he was calling it man beard, but he says man beer prime, like big man, right? Because he's like, and I guess you guys can relate. No, but like, let's just say from ages of 24 to let's say even 28, that's the ages you're using, you filled out more, you became a man, like, you know,
You're
there's a
reaching your
difference between a
peak
boy
there,
and a
right?
man. Yeah, like, and there's a difference where one day you don't have that little boy face anymore, you're a man, and
Yep.
I don't know, you just fill out, you get a beer gut, I don't know, it's just, that's what he calls it. And so we always talk about that, like, what is he gonna be like when he's in his man bear prime?
Well, if he starts
He's
getting
like,
physical, when he seems to be getting every single year, he's getting a little bit more physical. If he starts actually throwing his body around in the corners, man, he's going to be legitimately. Well, he's already unstoppable. He's going to be the best player in the league, and he's very close to that right now. Like, if again, I always said this is my famous thing. If you were to tell me, I always start a lot of those sentences because I'm always wrong. But like I said, if you were to tell me that Matthews would be in the conversation as best player in the NHL at this point in the season in a league that Connor McDavid is in, I'd say you're out of your mind. I figured McDavid would have a point lead on him now by like 60 points. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's no disrespect to Matthews. I just think that the kid is still haven't reached his potential yet, and that's scary. Scary.
He could have an Ovi type career. Like, he can be going at this age, chasing goals.
Yeah.
Why not?
I agree.
Take care of yourself. No big injuries.
I'm trying to look up the point leaders. This is on ESPN, so I mean, how accurate is that going to be? And I don't know how up to date it is. Like, obviously, if it's counting tonight. Okay, so it's saying Matthews has 75 points. I'm not sure if he had 75 before tonight. See what your app says. So it says 75. Yeah, so that would be the most accurate. So 75 points. Connor McDavid leads the league at 81. So it's very attainable, especially if McDavid and Draisaitl and the Oilers continue playing.
75 is right.
You know? Okay, so that is up to date. He leads right now with 43 goals. Draisaitl is the closest, and Kreider, they're tied for second at 38 goals. So, I mean, he has a 5-goal lead now. Like, insert evil laugh.
I still can't believe Chris Kreider.
I know. What the heck? What happened to this?
Chris
Like,
Kreider.
where did he come from all of a sudden?
I know, right?
Well, it's really funny that when you're talking about top goal scorers in NHL, none of them are Canadian. That's very interesting to me.
Well, I mean, you could throw. Okay, well, I'm going to hit that back with Cale Makar, because holy shit, he should be up for like the Hart as well. Because I mean,
he's phenomenal.
MVP. He's so good.
What a good pick that was. And I remember watching the draft that year. I was like, I don't know if I'd have wasted my pick on a college kid. No.
Man,
boy, was I wrong
Sakic
again.
seen something in that kid.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
something else to watch.
Adam's a really big fan of him. So I'm always hearing about Cale Makar and seeing Cale Makar highlights and stuff. Because like I said, he's obsessed with them.
To the shock and awe of everyone, Cale Makar and Joe Sakic too knows more about hockey than I do. Go figure.
Imagine. You never know. I mean, another one that you could also say, I mean, let's go on and talk about the defenseman now, since we're talking about Makar, but another one that we've been really enjoying, of course, is Adam Fox. He has 48 points on the year as a defenseman. Like, it's just madness, right? Cale Makar, 21 goals. He's played 54 games. He has 21 goals, 44 assists. 44 assists. Like, that's crazy. 65 points as a defenseman.
We were really robbed
As a
of
kid.
Olympic hockey this year, man. Like, I mean, not getting to
Oh,
see
I'm
these guys play
still
at the
sour.
Olympics. I'd have been hard pressed to, like, imagine a gold medal game between Canada and the US. Like, who the hell are you cheering for?
Yeah.
You know, like,
Well,
I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I'll always cheer for Canada. That's not the case, but I mean, like, there's so many good young players who are coming out of the States right now,
Yeah.
that are making this what should be a reborn rivalry. It would make it real interesting, real interesting. We're at a different stage in American hockey than we've ever been, and we were absolutely
Truly.
robbed of that this year, which is unfortunate. Because watching Matthews in a gold medal game against McDavid and Marner at that point as well, I mean that's the stuff that my dreams are made of. I love the thought of that, right? But in any
Marner and
case,
JT would be playing against Matthews. Like, it's just
Yep.
kind of crazy to think about, hey?
So
But yeah,
they're looking
hopefully
at
we'll get to see it next time.
well, the World Cup is 2024,
Right.
right?
True that. Can't. So hopefully
Still
that will.
not close
Let's
enough.
hope COVID's not a thing in
Yeah.
2024.
Well, it
That
shouldn't,
no,
would-
that,
shouldn't be in about a week.
Yeah.
Oh,
hopefully. No, that ends my conversation on the greatest Leaf of all time. I guess shout out to Glenn
Mhm.
Murray. Glenn's favorite player, if I'm not mistaken, would have been Davey Keon, right?
Obsessed.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's obsessed.
And very, very widely viewed as the greatest Leaf of all time, Dave Keon. So
Mhm. And
when you're getting,
now, my favorite is slowly creeping up on your favorite, Daddy.
yeah, so there you go. And happy
In case
birthday to
anyone's
Glenn too.
wondering,
Big
he's
shout out
talking
to
about my
Glenn.
dad.
Sure, people
I
can
don't just
figure
call
out.
random men daddy. I just wanted to put that aware, put that out there. But yes,
Hey,
his
Daddy.
birthday was just the other day, so that was a really good time, I must say. And I made a TikTok of it. It was so cute. My mom.
Yeah,
loved
maybe
it.
I'll flash up his original 6 photo. I love that picture. You guys did a great job.
Yeah, he even
Yeah,
it's
it was
funny because
cool.
he actually been talking about that for a few years. And how it all started, and I got to do it, is Eddie Shearer has like a photo contest or something, like outdoor weather contest, and he was like, that'd be some good idea because he's made a rink every year. Like, I mean, me and Todd growing up, we had one every year, and now since the kids are growing up, my niece and nephew, he's built them again. So anyway, 2 years ago, it just didn't come to fruition. COVID, same as last year. I think the weather also screwed it up another time. So this year, being his 60th, we're like, well, I mean, let's do it. The rink was there. It was a beautiful day. And we had a couple jerseys because, like, we have a signed Michael Ryder jersey. So we had the Habs one. And Dad had a Red Wings one because it's signed by Cup winners that he won at like an auction. So there's just a couple that we needed. But anyhow, community rally together, and I was like, I am only wearing the Leafs jersey.
I was disappointed.
Like,
I was really
I-
hoping they were
oh,
going to end up in like one of those
no.
crappy. Anyway,
No, they didn't even ask me. I never even had to say it. They were just like, no, you like, that's why we needed to find the other two. And we were like, we have to get the kid sizes so it didn't look crazy on the two kids. So that way Kylie can wear the Leafs jersey. And I was like, thank you. I didn't even have to ask. But yeah, they know me too well.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that sounds nice.
No, big
Yeah,
shout out
it
to
was
Glenn.
cute.
Happy birthday.
Well,
Maybe I'll
happy
send it into
birthday.
Ron McLean. Thanks. I'll let him know, guys.
Thanks,
Tara.
He'll probably
Glenn,
watch
for
this
raising
anyway.
your daughter correctly. A lot of people can take some notes from Glenn. We appreciate it. But yeah, no, I think we're good, guys. You guys happy with
Yeah.
that? You knocked us on the head.
100%.
Yeah.
If we keep
Yeah.
going, we'll circle back to being miserable humans again if we keep going. So let's end
Yeah,
on
I
Glenn's
kinda-
birthday and some good outdoor skating and great pictures. Like I said, I'll
Yeah.
grab one of them, snap up there because it's such a good photo. I love them. So, all right. So yeah, I guess we'll knock it on the head. So first and foremost, big shout out to PHG Sports. It's our sponsor, the Whitby, Ontario. PHG has been with us now for 2 full seasons as a DSC podcast. Do you guys see I flashed up a Facebook memory on my Facebook today? It was just a photo I had up from our
Oh,
podcast.
of you watching us?
Yeah, I was kicking back my feet
Yes.
up watching the podcast on my
Yeah.
TV. It was the Theo Fleury episode, and that was a year ago today. So time flies. We're having a lot of
Wow.
fun. We've
Certainly
met a lot of
does.
cool
Holy
people,
moly.
and that's a big thanks goes out to PHG for making
Yes.
this all possible. So Chad, you know where they are right now?
They're in Mississauga, Ontario. They're down this Dixie Road until March 13th.
There you go. So if you're in Mississauga,
Nice.
that's close enough to Leafs country for you. You don't get much closer than that from a Costco warehouse perspective. So swing by, talk to the guys at PHG, buy your friends something nice, and of course get a good chat going with the boys. They're they're great to chat hockey with, especially Leafs hockey. So, but other than that, like I said, if you're looking for more of our content, we've got some great episodes up recently. We did an episode not so long ago with Tara Sloan, where we went into great detail about some hot topics around the league. Our last episode, of course, was with Mr. Paul Dvorsky, retired NHL official, who's now working in supervision with the NHL, and of course reporting up the ladder to Stevie Walkham. He's full of great stories, but also shed some insight, which is what I found the most interesting about the accountability and how that goes with refs. So if you're pissed about tonight's outcome, you're curious as to how all that works, take a step back there at episode 15. But if you're looking for more of our content, you'll find it on www.facebook.com/DeekSnipeSelly. You can also follow us on Twitter at SellyDeek. We've got an Instagram page going. A lot of our memes and stuff are going up there. Yeah, there's that's kind of quasi new. And of course, you can get us at www.deeksnipeselly.ca. Got a new article coming out soon. Tim just released one a little while ago too. Falls in line with our Paul Dvorsky episode. 30 years wearing the stripes, and it's quite a detailed article and interview that he did with a longtime official here in St. John's. So great stories and a great article by Tim. But I'm told he's got another one coming, and it's going to be for you Halifax Mooseheads fans. So that'll want to be coming in the next week or so. So keep an eye to deeksnipeselly.ca for everything DSC. All right, guys, I got nothing else. If you guys are happy, I'm happy. Just knock it on the head.
Good.
All right.
All good.
Peace out.
Cheers.